Pete Thompson, Tuesday with Thompson. Yes, indeed. So don't forget the Pete Thompson Show this and every Saturday, 8 to 10, 97.3 ESPN. The PT in the house and in typical PT fashion.
What's that, buddy?
There he is. What's up, Peter?
MG, I thought that maybe I was canceled. You know, that's what Frank Close said. You guys canceled the segment, didn't tell me. You know, I wasn't in the daily update today. No love.
Josh forgot to put you in there. You can blame him.
Yep. And then, you know, what were the Aton bits? I heard a little bit of Aton and Harry, but what was the thing you forwarded me about?
Oh, so yesterday we were talking about Altoona. And I said, you know, the one thing about Altoona, there was a Permanti brothers there.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez.
And
here we go. There we go.
I said Pete Thompson refused to go to Permanti brothers. And Ryan Rothstein was a little, you know, he couldn't figure out why. So I explained to him why, and he was trying to defend you as much as possible. He just could not come up with a reason to defend you.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like anybody's able to defend me, even though I stand by my argument.
Right.
You know,
Mosher today could not.
You look at every picture of a Permanti Brothers sandwich that's got all the goop on the top. I mean, why would I go expose myself and look like an idiot?
Well, as we discussed, like Mosher today, he went to Penn State, where Permanti Brothers, Pittsburgh area, Altoona had one. He said, well, why wouldn't he just say, I don't want the coleslaw? And I said, that's what I said.
All right.
So we feel that there is some other reasoning that you
all
refuse.
Sandwiches are topped with French fries, coleslaw, and tomatoes.
No, no tomato. Like I did not get.
Coleslaw.
Like I got my sandwich, no tomato. I do not eat tomato.
Right. I don't want the tomato. I don't want the coleslaw.
Right.
Now I want the fries, and I want this. So let's see here: roast beef and cheese with fries.
Yep.
Yeah, I could probably go for that.
Yep.
Ham and cheese with fries. Yes, I could probably go for that. But at the time, you know, a little bit still pissed off at the Flyers for their efforts. A little bit, you know, hair of the dog from the Shastas and Frescas. We had to forget about their lack of an effort. I was in no mood to slap across Pittsburgh, or as I like to call it, Bleepburg. You know, it rhymes with Pitt. Yeah, I just didn't want to go. So that was the excuse I gave, and gosh darn it, 3 years later or whatever it's been, you're still talking about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, oddly enough, when we were in Altoona, everybody said, this Permanti brothers. I heard you had to go there when you're in Pittsburgh. I said, yeah, you should.
The worst thing is if I had gone to the GD restaurant with you and gotten it without the slaw or the tomato or whatnot, then you would, then instead of the argument of being, I can't believe you didn't go, for 2 years, you'd be saying, I can't believe you took off the slaw.
No. That's like, I mean, like, there's certain things when I go to a place, if I don't want it on there, I say I don't want, I say no tomato. I don't eat tomato. That's perfectly normal to say there's certain things on this sandwich that I don't want.
The next time you and I are together somewhere where there's a Permanti Brothers.
Well, you know, they're in like central to western Pennsylvania.
I'm aware of that, and I don't foresee myself being in central or western Pennsylvania anytime soon. But if you and I are both
I don't
together,
mind if I never go back.
Pay.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind if I never go back to anywhere west of Philly.
Oh, it was that fun, huh?
I mean, you're driving out there, and like Sully was driving, and he's like, dude, it could be 1985 here, and nobody would know the difference.
That's true.
I mean, it is just, you're out there, man. You're doing nothing. There's you and the corn.
Was there, now see, everybody says that, and they used to think like Nebraska was real flat, and I'd be like, that's Kansas, you know, like, but the truth of the matter is there's parts of Kansas that look like parts of Nebraska too. I mean, you know, when you're out in rural areas, there's a reason for that, you know.
Yeah.
No lights, no billboards.
Yeah, it was just like, you know, it was a street that had every chain restaurant you could imagine. I'm not like, it wasn't like an awful place. It's just like, you know, like I had 3G coverage. It was going in and out. I mean, it was just like, you know, but they did have a Permanti Brothers.
I was gonna say, did they have a mall?
Yeah, somewhere.
Like, where did you go for activity? You know, a happening night at the bowling alley.
Well, our hotel had like a bar and a restaurant and like inside. So you didn't really, and like right outside our hotel, there was an Outback Steakhouse and a Permanente Brothers and a Target. So like you didn't really have to get in your car to do much.
All right. So you did get Permanente Brothers finally.
Yeah.
Finally
Well,
got
I've
your
had it
Permanente
before.
Brothers.
That's why I was recommending that the other people in the car who had not been to Pittsburgh, and like when you go to Pittsburgh, that's what you do. It's like you go to Philly, somebody's saying to Pete, "Hey, Pete, can you take me to Geno's or Pat's?" And you being like, "Yeah, you don't want to." I mean, not that they're the best.
But see,
it's just what you do.
You and Mosher are too quick to dismiss the fact, like, you don't want to be that guy that goes to Pat's like John Kerry did during the presidential election that year and ordered a cheesesteak with Swiss. You'll stand out like an idiot. I maintain that if you go to the main Permanente Brothers location, not some remote location in Altoona where you don't give a damn if anybody knows who you are or not, but if you're at the main one and you walk up there and you're like, I like this, but then you turn into Meg Ryan, but I don't want this, and I don't want this, and I don't want this, but they're going to look at you like, get out of here, you a-hole.
Nah, I mean, come on, Peter. You're asking for one thing. Can you just not put the slaw on the tomato? That's not hard.
That's really two things. I like that you made it a collective group, and you just said that's one thing. Yeah. It's really two.
It is two, but it's all in one ask. Like, I just hold the slaw on the tomato. I'm sure they get asked about the slaw multiple. Like, that's probably a pretty not rare thing that people say hold the slaw. It's just like going to the cheesesteak place and saying, I don't want onions.
I mean, there's a reason. You watched my finicky diet, right? There's a reason that I don't go that. I mean, in addition to Mike Fielski's column, which says that, you should favor mom and pop sandwich shops. But there's a reason that I don't go to that national chain Subway. The whole point of Subway was that they would load up all the fixings on your sandwich. I didn't want any fixings on my sandwich. And eventually you'd get a sandwich where you basically were getting like half of it empty because, you didn't have any fixes in it. Had they filled up the other half with more meat or more cheese, I would have been all down for it. But no.
Pete Thompson Show, Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, 97.3 ESPN. So in typical PT fashion, so I tweeted something out the other day. I was going to use it for my show on Monday. Well, here you two guys went and took my topic and never gave me any credit for it. And then you used it again on Saturday.
Oh, it was spectacular. Absolutely. Hey, I'm no dummy. I know a good topic when I see one. I was Ed McMahon in that role. You got to talk to Johnny Carson if you're upset about that.
Yeah.
I had listen in typical PT fashion. In typical PT fashion, I didn't even see it. Right? I just went along with it when it was presented, and then again, I'm smart enough to know when something has juice, and it had good juice. And you're talking about what was the most memorable sporting event you've ever attended, and we got responses.
You had
to
like
on
you had
Friday.
the Christian Leitner game.
Yeah, I got two, and Joe Carter when Mitch threw the pitch.
We cannot forget though, and Pete and Ryan were hosting on Friday. They had Billy on for Get Off My Lawn. They asked Billy the question, and Pete, tell Gill about how Billy refused to answer said question.
That's like not going to Permanente Brothers and asking them to take off the coat. How do you not answer the question?
I mean, he eventually answered it via text message board, but
yeah, like 20 minutes later.
Yeah, it took him a long time to get to it.
So basically, what happened, Mike, is they asked Billy the question, and Billy goes, guys, I've been to so many games. I've been to the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup. I've been to every game, but there's one thing was the greatest thing I ever experienced, and then he brings up the NASA rocket launch.
Space shuttle. He got a space shuttle.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. The point is that Ryan and Pete put this thing on a tee for him, Mike.
Yeah, the question is, what is the most memorable sporting event you've ever been to?
Billy brings up the space shuttle launch.
Attend it.
Schwein brings up the space shuttle.
Right, so I figured you went with Joe Carter and Christian Leitner.
That is correct.
They're the two.
That is correct.
Okay.
We got a lot of great responses from people. What do you have?
Mine was Roy Halladay, no-hitter in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. That sucks that you were there and I wasn't. I was covering high school football, or else I would have been right there sitting next to you.
Yeah, that was the one. And then, how about the night 08, you and I were at the Phillies clinch of the NLCS.
That's true. That was a pretty damn good one. I mean, there's been a lot of them,
Had a couple cocktails with Cowboy Joe West after the game
that's
there, BJ.
Right. We did. Rasheed Wallace blew us off. two NCAA finals in Philly with my dad in 76 and 81. I was also at the Palestra and saw Villanova beat Notre Dame the night Austin Carr scored 45. Porter Inglesby, Simatowski era. That's Brian on Twitter as I go back through some of these that came in. They're great.
Yeah, that was a good one. So thanks for ruining my Monday show.
Hey, thanks for putting it out there. Lesson learned.
Now, here was a question we were going to get into yesterday, but we never got around to it. That another one that I put out there, which was, how many now defunct stadiums have you been to?
Yeah, and how many did I put back, obviously, Veterans Stadium.
Yeah, your answer was were you drunk?
No, look, when I tweet from my phone and I'm doing it like in a stoplight per se, my brain isn't fully strapped on like yours is all the time.
Yeah.
Look, what do you want from me? You said I wasn't drunk because I named what, a stadium that wasn't a baseball stadium?
No, I forget. I have to go back and find it. But the answer that you gave was basically one that I had given, but you were making it as if like that one wasn't mentioned.
Oh, no, you said I said Memorial Stadium, so yes, it's no longer in use or standing for that matter. I thought the question, as I read it,
yeah, you wrote, had my first beer at 16 at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium.
That's correct.
That's a defunct one now. That one's a defunct one. But I had already said Memorial Stadium.
Oh, I didn't know I had to say ones that you had.
No. But you said that's a defunct one now. The Vet 2, I was on the field at the old Orange Bowl, but that's football, so ...
Right. I'm just freeform radio trying to think of, like, stadiums that are no longer around, baseball stadiums that are no longer around. Look,
yeah, baseball only. So I came up with 6. I got the Vet. I called a baseball game one time from Three Rivers.
Oh. No, I've been by Three Rivers, but I've never been in it.
I was at Shea.
Yeah, never been in it.
The old Yankee Stadium I was at.
Yeah.
Joe Robbie, when it was the football, when the Marlins played there, I was at Joe Robbie.
Okay.
And old Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, I was at a couple of games there. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
All right, you're the greatest.
No, well, I'm just saying there's 6 that I can think of off the top of my head. I figured you would have had a bunch of them.
I mean, I was at the old Mile High Stadium, but not for a Rockies game when they played there. I was there for a Broncos.
I wonder if that counts.
Game. What?
I wonder if that would count.
If it was a Rockies game, that's where the Rockies started.
Yeah, the question came from Kevin Seifert at ESPN. He said, Miller Park debut. Last time I saw baseball in Milwaukee, it was at County Stadium. Question for fellow geezers. How many now defunct ballparks have you visited? So I guess ballparks would mean former baseball stadiums.
Baseball. Yeah, baseball. Yeah.
Well, Mile High used to have a baseball team, so you've been there. I'll give you credit for that, Peter.
All right, good. So now I'm kind of technically up to 2, right? Or 3.
So you never went to Yankee Stadium?
I've never been inside old Yankee Stadium. I've never been inside new Yankee Stadium.
Really?
Not a once.
Huh. Interesting.
And I've been to Citi Field, but I was never at Shea.
No, I've never been to Citi Field, but I was at Shea.
Yeah.
Now, I was at nope, that one's still the new one, is the Texas Rangers. They're getting a new one.
Okay.
Yeah, but I wasn't at the old Texas, Arlington. I was at this new old one.
And Anaheim's still the same place, right?
Yeah, I've been to the Anaheim Stadium where the Angels play, but that's the same one. They just kind of refurbished it.
Right.
Yeah, I was at Dodger Stadium once.
Oakland. Which one?
Dodgers.
Oh, I've been to Dodger Stadium, but it's not gone yet.
No, right. I'm saying I've been out there. I was at the new Miller Park. I wasn't at County Stadium, though.
I like my Miller Lite in a bottle, not a draft or a can.
Yeah, so did you vote in my poll question, Peter?
Of course I voted.
What'd you vote? I know a lot of people, we had a lot of response on the poll question. So Pete Thompson.
You're very good at those questions. Look, I voted bottle. You know I like the bottle first and foremost. And
yeah, but you get the brown bottle flu a little too much. You maybe should try the can.
What, you think that would slow me down?
It might.
Help me regulate a little. Kevin Minnick wrote back to me and said that he sat next to Ed Hilt from the AC Press.
I saw that.
Like, we were both in the same auxiliary press box, and we didn't know each other at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so, yeah, you went bottle?
Yeah, I went bottle. And then because, of course, I voted, then for the next 3 hours, I kept getting notifications every time somebody chimed in. So
Josh Henning says, I say bottle. So we had 46% bottle, 39% draft, and 14% went with the can.
Yeah. Well, listen, when you're in college, the can is the way to go.
I still like a nice can.
Yeah, it depends. If I have the choice between can and bottle, I'm always going to go bottle above can.
Yeah.
Always. Always.
So what's happening on the Pete Thompson show this week?
Well, we're, Johnny Mac, Mr. 6 days a week now. I'm no dummy. Practice starts at 9:15, so he says that he can do the 8:20 slot. So we had him last week. We're going to have him again this week. And, even though Billy is like the king of all lifeguard racing, there certain times there's events out there that I think, he may not be able to get to. So there's a women's only event down in Cape Point that a friend of mine has run this is the 15th one. It's all women, like 15, 16 patrols. Her name's Kristen Morby. So we're going to have her on. And then, I'm searching for some 9 o'clock guests. Probably by that time, I'm really working hard to have somebody on because we'll be post-trade deadline for the Phillies. And I want to have somebody on that has all the nooks and crannies of what they've done, Vargas, or what they haven't done.
Yeah, Vargas is going to challenge you to a fight.
Well, you probably win, although I might sit on him.
All right, check back for the PT Power Hour on Friday, and then the Pete Thompson Show Saturday. Oh, we got to get back to lunch. My dad's been asking for you.
Go ahead.
My dad this past week, was at Target Field in Minnesota, and then he drove to Kansas City and went to what's the place out there called? Royal Stadium? What is it called?
Yeah, Kauffman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Maybe he saw Cody Stashak.
I asked him. He was not there that night.
Oh,
yeah. All right, Peter.
All right, buddy.
Hey, have a Permanente Brothers, would you?
Sure.
That's our Tuesday with Thompson. Hope you enjoyed.